Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Foreigner Footy Files. I'm Natalia Pinkney, and this is episode 16, Watching the Window Pass. So for my Footy Files followers, yes, I just made that up. It's been several minutes since I've put out an episode and checked in. But before we get into the week's episode, the usual poem that is a piece of my path. This poem is titled, The Me I Dreamed to Be. There's a fine line between dreams and nightmares. When we close our eyes and wish real hard, dreaming that dream and shooting for the stars. When you're 5, there's no ifs, it's when. Because you know who you're meant to be, even back then. Failure wasn't even a word off my tongue. The songs of victory were the only ones sung. For I knew where I would end up one day. On the TV screen, rocking a jersey and number, waving to my mom like, hey. And then reality hits. Boy, oh boy, ain't that some shit. You believed working hard was all there was to it. But now I know it ain't just me that gets me through it. Politics, bureaucracy, status, and cash flow. All those things a little kid ain't gotta know. With each step I rise, standing to the occasion. But then them negative thoughts begin the invasion. You're 28 and feeling great. But how's your career looking? Feeling like it's too late? Not playing at the top, feeling like I should stop. But hold on, this ain't all that I got. For a pause is just that, a moment to breathe, so maybe this time it's time to put my soul at ease. It ain't how I pictured, but the view is still good. Growing into the woman and player, my 5-year-old self knew that I would. Alrighty, so we're gonna get real vulnerable this week. And as the title of the episode hints at, we are talking about signing windows again, but specifically not getting signed within them this time. I touched a bit on this last episode before, actually missing the window. And I think a part of me knew writing and recording that last episode that this outcome was very plausible. But I was holding on to hope and really pushing through and working hard to make sure that I got signed within the first signing window of this season. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And since I began my international journey, missing the signing window has been one of the biggest stressors and fears. After, I learned about what they actually were and how they worked, because for the longest time when I began, I didn't really have a grasp or an understanding about what a signing window really was and what missing it really meant. Because I have to say, I was quite blessed, fortunate and lucky that I made the first signing window that I made jumping overseas. It was a very last minute, spur of the moment, taking the leap type action, and it worked out in my favor. And as my journey has gone on and I've become more motivated to shoot higher and put myself out there in more, complicated situations, I'm now understanding the deeper roots of what these processes entail and how, the higher up you go, the more it's going to take to get to where you want to be, especially as a woman footballer, especially at pro levels internationally as a foreigner. There's always more to it than just finding a team in your local area and trying out to make it. It's always deeper than that, especially for international foreign players. Missing the signing window was something I personally worked overtime to not do. In my mind, missing the window equaled failure in my career, point blank. I never thought I would be a player having to watch a season go by, as I couldn't play in the games on the weekends. To me, there was no option. I made the team in the first signing window of the season, point blank. That was it. And then I played. That was the only options that I gave myself. It was the only thing that I felt like there was to do. I mean, what do you mean winter signing window? That ain't what we bout. We bout the summer signing window, beginning of the season, starting and ending with the team. That was what I always set out to do every season. And thus far, until this year, that's what I did. Unfortunately, life doesn't always present us with what we want. Sometimes it presents us with what we need. And Until recently, I did not think about missing the window as being something that I needed. I definitely saw it as something that I refused to accept and refused to see as a possibility. But again, life does what it wants, and we have to roll with it. It's something that I believe that I have a path for myself. There's a journey laid out for me, and it's up for me to take the proper steps and actions and move in a way that helps me to fulfill that journey in that role. I think that we are given challenges and adventures that we are capable of dealing with at that time in our lives. And perhaps life, my guardians, ancestors, everyone looking out for me felt that where I was this summer going into this season, I was not prepared for the next step in my journey yet. Not that it's never going to come, because it is. But just where I was at that time, I wasn't ready. Physically, yes. Football-wise, yes, I was ready. But emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, I just wasn't. And I am a very stubborn, determined person, and no part of me wanted to believe that I wasn't ready. How could I not be ready? I've played in several countries. I've worked up from playing when I was 5 in Pee Wee all the way to professional levels, top levels in some countries. How was I not ready for this next step? But I wasn't. And for those of you who are close to me, or maybe even following my personal Insta page, you've probably noticed that I haven't been signed yet or playing this half of the season so far. Here we go with the vulnerability of this episode. For months now, I felt like a failure. Watching the season pass by week after week after week, never being able to play or put on a jersey on the weekends to represent a club and a team and play side by side with young women that I can call my teammates. Something that I pride myself on being able to experience every season. For months now, I've felt like a failure, and I can't express how hard it was to get past that feeling. Feeling like I failed myself, my family, my listeners, everyone, my support systems. I was embarrassed, and I felt ashamed. My biggest fear had finally come true. I did not get signed in the first signing window of a season. This summer was hard, to say the least. I will not give many details. You'll have to wait for the Germany folder for those details. But I dealt with a lot. I dealt with the worst anxiety and depression that I've had in years. Still currently battling it a little bit, but we're coming out on the other side. I worked my ass off to ensure that my career would continue in a forward direction. I did all the right things, took every step necessary, and yet I still missed the window. Now, I'm not old, but I'm definitely closer to 30 than 20. So the thought of not playing for more than 6 months made me fear for my career and my forward progress. I've said it before in past episodes. Basically, anybody over the age of 23 is looked at as geriatric at this point in professional football, which is insane because there are plenty of players who are over the age of 30, some even 35 plus, who are still balling. And to be honest, there's a lot of factors that go into that. It's your personal responsibility. Are you eating properly, sleeping properly, doing recovery, warming up properly, going to physio, rehab, taking time off when you need it, listening to your body. But also, is your club taking care of you the way you need them to? Does your club have the resources and the facilities to make sure that you are able to perform at the highest level consistently, regardless of your age? There's a lot of factors into it, and me personally, I do not feel like I'm anywhere close to being old in life or in football. So, yeah, this ain't the end for me. But like anything else made public, my career was always something that I posted online since high school. So people started to expect that content from me. For those of you who follow football and know, okay, September the season starts typically, for the countries on this side of the world. Australia was obviously different for the seasons being opposite, but typically my seasons would start in September and they end in May, June, July, depending on playoffs, relegation, yada, yada, yada. And, September came around. No posts of new sign to a team, no post of staying with a team, no post at all about football, really. And, cue the questions and the curiosity of friends and family and supporters, like usual. You playing this season? What team are you on? Still overseas? How's the career going? Have you scored yet this season? I haven't seen you post anything about it. And it goes on and on. And none of this is to say that I was bothered by these questions or angry or upset that people were asking and having curiosity and, quite frankly, giving a crap about my career. That's absolutely beautiful. And I'm blessed to have people in my life who want to know about my football career, who want to know how I'm doing. Not everybody has that support system. So I'm very blessed to have that. And I'm very fortunate to know that there are people who are following my career. That's a beautiful thing. But it was a constant reminder that I was not where I wanted to be. It was a constant reminder that I wasn't signed within the window. And I had to accept the fact that that was going to come. And as time went on, I started to become more at grace with the situation. Sometimes I didn't answer people for days. Sorry to y'all that I kind of blew off. But I just, knowing that after I would say I couldn't get signed in the window, I couldn't get signed in time, things didn't work out how planned, life had other things going for me, I'm working on it, more to come, then I knew that there were the follow-up questions or the pity given. And I was just not in the stable emotional, mental, or spiritual place for that. So a lot of the times I just fully avoided it. And I felt like if I just don't answer them, then it's not real for any of us, right? If I don't tell them that I didn't get signed to a team yet, if I don't tell them that things didn't work out, then none of us really have to accept the truth, right? That's how that works. But I shut down emotionally, mentally. I took myself away from reality as much as I could. I would isolate myself very often. I was still playing on my own time. I would find small little local groups of people playing for fun, and I would join in, typically playing with grown men, which seemed to be the best thing for me because it kept my competitive edge because, a bunch of grown men aren't going to let a 5'2", woman show them up. So that competitive edge was never lost despite not being able to train properly with an organized team. I still made sure that I kept myself on the pitch, that I could at least 1 to 2 times a week lace my boots up and get a ball at my foot to get fitness in, touches. I still kept myself out there on that field because despite things not going to plan, I knew that I would regret later down the line that when things did start to fall into place, if I wasn't prepared, I would hate myself. So I knew that something in my heart was telling me to be ready for what's to come. And obviously when you're in the dark, when you're in that low place, when you feel like everything is going downhill and all your dreams are crushed, it's really hard to keep that open mind. But I knew deep down inside of me that 5-year-old was screaming, girl, we ain't done yet. So you better stay ready. Because if you ain't ready when it comes, regret is going to be the only thing that you feel. And almost every episode that I've recorded since last season ended has been both a trigger and a place of relief, to be quite honest. I could come to this space of speaking about football and speaking about my experiences and speaking about the World Cup or women's football problems in general and, just speak about the sport that I love. But it felt so wrong. It felt so wrong to speak about my journey when I felt like it was on a big pause. I mean, how can I talk about being a player when I'm not actually playing, right? Felt kind of like a fraud. Like, I'm going to come on here and speak to you about being a professional international women's footballer, and I'm not even doing that at the moment. I mean, I am to an extent of I'm still international, I'm still a woman, I'm still a footballer, but, not officially with a team. And deep down inside of me, I just felt like, how do you feel that you can get on a platform and speak about something that you're not actively doing? Which is insane. I want to acknowledge that that's an insane thing to think, because not making it in the signing window is a part of this process. It happens, and a lot more often than people think. And I think that with the element of social media, things constantly being posted, players are always posting games or new signings or roster pictures, because those are things that you want to share. It's exciting to talk about your adventure. It's exciting to talk about your season, especially when you're doing well, especially when you are starting a new team, new, journey of life. You want to share those things. So naturally, not being able to post those things, but, wanting to come on and write content about my journey when my journey wasn't, in my eyes, progressing, just didn't feel right. And to be honest, I do feel a little bit of regret that I have put this on pause for so long, because this podcast is bigger than me. That's been something that I've stated since the beginning. It's bigger than me. It's not about just speaking about my story so that I can just talk about me. No, this is about sharing the experience as being an international women's footballer and all the things that come with it. This process in this experience is one of the things that comes with it. And I felt like me waiting until I signed to my next team to make another episode was just an unjust thing to do. It would go against everything that I said that I wanted this to be. This is supposed to be something that helps other women. It's supposed to be something that helps make things a bit easier. Learn from me, learn from my mistakes, learn from my experiences, learn from the things that I did right, and to just put it on pause and go completely hiatus just because my journey wasn't going how I planned. Once I woke up a bit, I realized just how ridiculous that was. And don't get me wrong, the pause was definitely necessary. I needed time to heal. I needed time to be just with me. I needed time to do life. As I said, as an international player, the system doesn't work the same. I got to take probably 100 extra steps just to be able to step on that pitch and put on a jersey and call myself a part of a team, call myself a teammate. There's so many extra things that we have to go through, and it changes and it varies team by team, club by club, country by country. But for the most part, it's extra work. And I think that I personally just needed that time away to focus on the outside things that needed to get done in order for my football career to continue to progress, in order for my mental health to get better. So I just want to, slip in there a little appreciation for the patience from everybody who does follow the podcast and listen in. So just a little snippet of appreciation. Anyway, I just didn't really feel worthy of my podcast. I didn't feel confident in myself in any way. And I was lonely and left out, and not having a team is a feeling I've never felt since I was playing at 5 years old. I'm not kidding. I have been on a team consistently since I was 5 years old, from Pee-wee all the way up through high school. When I was in high school, I was playing for two teams at once, my club team and my high school team. Then I went on to college, played all 4 years. And then even when I stopped playing in college, because you play in the fall, spring season, I joined the track team because I just felt like I needed to be a part of a sports team. It was just in my blood. It's how I process. It's how I work. And then immediately after graduating, tried the whole normal job thing. No, that lasted maybe about 3 months. And then I shipped myself off to Australia. So, I didn't really know what it felt like to go more than a couple months without playing on a team. And I've come close to the situation several times, but this was the first time it actually happened. And like I said, it's lonely, it's scary, it's intimidating, stressful, heartbreaking, infuriating, just to name a few emotions that, this whole experience and missing the window can make you feel, at least me personally, how it's made me feel. To do all that you can possibly do, and it's still not enough. Being a footballer is a huge part of who I am, and with no team, to sign to officially and to claim, in August, I felt numb. Nothing prepares you for the level of FOMO. For those who don't know what that acronym is, fear of missing out. No one prepared me for the deep level of FOMO that this brings. Because the last 6, almost 7 years have been mainly based around, football. 90% of my social media feed is football related. 90% of the relationships that I've built since I left home are football related. Football friends who are just interested in the sport themselves, former teammates, current teammates, players I've coached. Football is the core of my life lately. And I didn't know who I was without a team. I know who I am now. I know who I am. I'm a fighter. I'm a leader. I'm a friend. I'm a partner. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter, an advocate, an educator, and a footballer, damn it. I am a footballer. Despite not being officially registered to a team right now, despite not being able to play in a game since the season started, I'm a footballer. I'm a lot more than just those things, but I am. And I've learned through this experience that none of those things have changed. None of them were ever untrue just because I didn't get to sign in August. They were always true. It just didn't work out how I wanted it to. There's a lot of details that I can't share right now. And will also be saved for, the Germany folder later. But I just felt like I needed to share this experience because women all over the world miss the window for a plethora of reasons. Every season. It's part of the game. What makes it matter is, how you react and how you respond. It was very close for me to giving up and saying, screw it, I missed the window, I missed the deadline, what's the point? I'm pretty sure I even said that at one point, out loud. I was like, well, that's it for my career. I'm not starting the season, so what's the point? And if I had given up, I wouldn't be where I am now. And for those of you who watch the YouTube videos online, I am clearly not in any of the places I've ever recorded before, in a new place with details to come, but I'm still training. I'm still fighting for my dreams every damn day. I refuse to give up. I won't give up because there's so much more to work for, and I'm not a failure. I have nothing to be embarrassed about. I have nothing to be ashamed about, and my journey is nowhere near being done. This lifestyle is not for the weak, and I've been through the ringer over the years, but I'm learning to take every step and phase in stride. No one wants to miss out on any season time. No one wants to miss out on games, but it's always best to be prepared for the possibility of, this situation happening. It's always in the cards, unfortunately, for international players to miss that window. And having a plan in place for what may happen if you don't make the team during the window is very, very important. Because my personal mistake was being so personally determined and driven to make a team in this first signing window, to make a specific team in the signing window, that I just closed my mind to every other option. Now, that being said, I stand by my decision personally, just because I was able to see the bigger blessings and the bigger plan with the team and the options that I had in mind in the moment. But had it not worked out the way things are currently working out for me right now, had I not pursued any other options properly, I'd be sitting in a lot of regret. I'd probably be sitting in the States right now, and I'm blessed enough to not. I'm blessed enough to not have had to hop on a plane and go back home and essentially start over. But don't be like me. Be open-minded to other options. It's okay if the thing that you really, really want doesn't work out. It's okay because something else may be better for you. You won't know unless you open yourself up to those possibilities. And if you don't stay prepared, you may end up falling behind, like actually falling behind. Missing a window feels like you're behind, but if you stay prepared and you stay, vigilant in the right ways, it's not behind, it's just a pause. But experiences like these are not talked about enough, and it leaves players feeling lost, behind, and stuck. And I think it's because of the stigma of feeling like, why would we talk about the possibility and the option of not making a team? Why does anybody want to speak about that? Because that's not something anybody ever wants to hear or to deal with or go through. But we need to talk about these things. We need to talk about what it means for your career to not get signed in the window that you were planning to, whether it's the first or second window, because everyone starts their career at their own time and at their own pace. For the young women that came for the football combine here in Germany that I did last year, it was in winter. So had a team sign them directly after that combine, which we know happened with one woman, Kat, then you are signing in the winter window. You're coming into a team halfway through the season because that's when you started your journey. It's just how it is. The windows, there are two for a reason. They put them in the beginning and the middle for a reason, because shit happens. Life happens. Plans start, journeys start when they do. And being able to have two options and two opportunities to make it onto a team and play in a season is beautiful. And honestly, had I looked at it from that perspective sooner, I would have saved myself so much mental and emotional anguish. I would have been able to be a lot kinder to myself. Give myself that grace of remembering I'm not failing. I just got to be patient and keep working. And when the time comes, it'll come. When my career is ready for the next step, it's going to happen. So I just want all of you to know that you're not a failure if you miss the window. You are good enough, and your next team is waiting for you. So stay prepared, stay ready, stay positive, love yourself, be kind to yourself, and nurture that young kid that's been shooting for these dreams forever. Because she's in there screaming at you that our time is still yet to come. So, yeah, you're good. You're not a failure. It all comes in time. So that being said, now it's time for I Wish I Knew That. So, I wish I knew how isolating missing a signing window would make me feel. I felt like I couldn't speak to any of my football friends about it because they all had teams. So it felt like they couldn't understand. It felt like, as I said before, a little bit embarrassing. I felt left out. I felt like, how can I talk to them about an experience that is completely opposite of what they're going through at the moment? I also felt like I couldn't speak to any of my friends who didn't play football because they don't get it. And not in a way of not understanding the concept, just in the emotional way of when you're overseas, you're away from all your loved ones, when you're very oftentimes alone. And then something that you work very, very hard for, in a way, falls through. It just feels like I can't really vent to somebody who doesn't understand that process because it's just me complaining. At least that's how I interpreted it. I was like, I can't talk to them about it. What are they going to get? They're going to say, oh, that's a shame. That sucks. I'm sorry. You'll get the next window. Which those words of encouragement probably would have been beautiful to hear, and my soul probably needed it. But the stubbornness in me and the isolated feeling that I was having just couldn't bring me to talk about it openly. And I just wish I knew that that's something that you would feel so deeply, missing a signing window. Being the one to look at Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and club websites to see all your friends' faces, which is freaking awesome, I have to say. How many friends of mine and former teammates and players and coaches making these new opportunities in the football world for themselves is absolutely incredible. I'm so proud to be able to say that I've got a bunch of badass friends in the football world, making incredible teams, doing incredible progress on their football journeys, reaching new heights. Incredible. But when I was down bad, it was really hard to see the beauty in their aspect and then also see the potential in mine. So I just wish that I knew that that was something that would hit me that hard. But, I truly wasn't prepared, and I just wish I had the mental and emotional tools to handle it a bit better. I wish I knew the physical, spiritual, and emotional stress that it would cause as well. Because waking up every day and waiting for that email or that call that everything's good to go, and it never came, was heartbreaking, as I said before. And it just wore on me day after day, month after month. So I just wish that I had better tools. I wish that I had better preparation and better knowledge of what the situation is like to not have it hit so hard. Yeah. And on to the next segment. Trust me on this one. So trust me on this one. Don't let it eat you up or make you lose hope and faith. I know that's easier said than done, coming from somebody who knows how hard it was to do that. But it's, for this emotional journey that this process takes you on, you have to remember that there's always something more for you. There is a next step. Being in this particular situation has taught me that all you can do is prepare for the next thing, the next signing window. It felt like ages away in August. It felt like, oh my God, I have to wait till January to be able to register for a team now. I have to wait till February, close to late February to be able to play in a game. How am I supposed to do that? I couldn't fathom the idea behind it. But once I took the time to reflect and look back, I realized it's just about patience and perseverance and staying ready for what's coming. And had I stayed so deep down bad, which, like I said, your girl's still fighting through a lot of it, but where I was before, had I stayed in that mental state, I would not be where I am right now, and I would not be working towards the beautiful blessings and things coming for me that I know are. So don't let it get you down too hard. And trust me when I say you need to speak to people about it. You need to talk. Do not let it build up inside of you. Do not close yourself in. Don't ball away. You can be a little bit isolated. You're allowed to have time to yourself. You don't always have to talk about everything. But you need people in your corner. Doing it all alone is not possible. It's not plausible, and it's not healthy. So reach out to your people. You got people there for a reason. Use them. Because I can promise you, as it happened with me, when they find out later how down bad you were and you didn't reach out, it's like, I'm here for you. People want to be there for you. Even if it's just one person, that one friend, hit their line. Hop up in their inbox. Let them know you ain't doing too good. Let them know what's going on. Because even if it's somebody who doesn't fully understand or grasp the whole situation or the concept, just being able to speak about it is a part of the process. It helps you heal, it helps you grow, and it helps you stay healthy and sane. So trust me, speak about it. Don't go through it alone. It's not going to work, and it's not healthy. So, yeah. That's it for this emotional ass episode, y'all. I made it through without crying. Love that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience on this insanely long hiatus. I've gone without recording an episode. Y'all know what to do. Like, rate, review. Give your girl 5 stars. Hit up, I think Apple, you can leave a review. I don't know if you can on Spotify, Google Podcasts. Hit me up in my DMs in the email, foreignerfootyfiles@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments, or just thoughts to say hey. You can also hit up the Instagram page inbox for any comments or thoughts that you have there as well. The Foreigner Footy Files Instagram page is just that. And you can also request to follow me on my personal page, Pinky, if you would like. The TikTok page, I actually do have a new segment in mind that I'm going to kick off. So tune into the TikTok page, Foreigner Footy Files, to check that out as well. I promise I will add more content onto that app, but I'm also trying very hard not to get addicted to it, so bear with me. But yeah, that's it for this week. Thank y'all for the support as always. Check back in 2 weeks and let's kick it together. Bye, y'all.